But anyway, let's get into these conference championship games. We'll start off with the one that was the more compelling of the two, I think, which is Rams Seahawks. And Lawrence, I think the big story out of this was just that Sam Darnold, he exercised the ghost, exercised the demons, and he delivered on the biggest stage possible.
Yeah, Jay, and to be honest, man, we can no longer say the things that we used to say about Sam Darnold, regardless of how the Super Bowl goes. He went in a shootout against Matthew Stafford, actually 2 times straight in a row when these teams played, going in a shootout with a Matthew Stafford who's probably going to win the MVP, and you knew the Rams were going to keep throwing their shots that second half, and you know they were going to keep coming. Sam Darnold held this Seahawks offense up. He did not turn the ball over and probably played the best game of his career, all things considered. 346 passing yards, 3 passing touchdowns, no turnovers. Just a great thing for the former number 3 overall pick from the 2018 draft that had Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, and Baker Mayfield. Sam Darnold is the first person from that class to get to a Super Bowl. So big congrats to him. And like you said, exercising those demons.
Yeah, I thought in a way the most remarkable thing of this game was not that Darnold played the way that he did, but because he had to play that way. Otherwise, they were going to lose. Yeah. We thought that there might be worlds where, you know, they're leaning on Ken Walker in the run game, and it's largely the defense that carries it, and Sam Darnold can kind of, you know, to some extent put on the Trent Dilfer 2000 Ravens costume and manage this game. That wasn't the case at all. The Rams averaged 8.3 yards per play. It felt like they were getting a first down on every play, and they almost were because they're averaging 8.3 yards per play. The Seahawks had no answer whatsoever for Stafford for the second game in a row. The pass rush wasn't really getting home. I believe Stafford was sacked 1 time total across the 3 matchups between the Rams and the Seahawks. So the fact that the Seahawks couldn't get pressure, the fact that the Rams were able to create separation so quickly with Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams going up against the weak links of the Seattle defense, which are their boundary corners, going up against Job and Tariq Woolen, who was almost one of the great villains in Seattle sports history for the worst 60 seconds that any athlete has had in 2026 to date. But the fact that Stafford was able to do all of that and play as well as he did meant that Darnold had to respond, and he did. And he did basically everything that you could ever expect of him, Matthew.
Yeah, and I think the other thing that's really interesting here is people forget, like, okay, brilliant in this game, there's no question about it. But think about this. The 2 previous matchups of the Rams, just 2 touchdown passes, 6 interceptions. He had played poorly in the 2 games where he had faced this defense before. So for a third time, everything on the line, obviously, and Matthew Stafford absolutely slinging it for Darnold to play as well as he did is just kind of an awesome story. And here's my question, Jay. What do you think we hear more of now that the Super Bowl matchup is set? We've got 2 weeks with nothing to talk about but this matchup. So my question is, what do you think we hear more of? Like the Sam Darnold redemption story, Malcolm Butler, or Marshawn Lynch? That's my question for you over the next 2 weeks.
I think it's Malcolm Butler because, one, that is the most iconic Super Bowl play, I think, of the past couple decades. Certainly the one that comes to mind for me first. I think another funny thing is that it was Cris Collinsworth on that call for that play. Yeah. And I can still remember in my head Collinsworth yelling, I can't believe the call. I can't believe the call that they didn't run the ball with Marshawn Lynch. And now Cris Collinsworth calling his 6th Super Bowl, and it's the 5th one involving the Patriots, and the 2nd one involving the Patriots and the Seahawks. So as much as Pats Rams would have been fun as well, because Pats Rams started the Patriots dynasty 26 years ago or whatever, and then also we had the second installment, which was not a great game. But now the fact that it is a Pats Seahawks redux, the fact that it's not just Sam Darnold exercising demons and ghosts, it's the Seattle Seahawks exercising demons from what was the most traumatic loss in their franchise history, and still just one of the most bizarre sequences ever, because the game it looked like the Pats were going to win. And then it was Jermaine Kearse down the right sideline with the insane juggling catch.
No one talks about that. That's what's crazy is that had they scored, had they given it to Marshawn Lynch, had Russell Wilson thrown a touchdown, whatever, had the Seahawks won, people would have talked about Jermaine Kearse's catch the way they talk about why am I blanking the name? Giants.
David Tyree.
David Tyree. Thank you. I don't know why I blanked on the name, but like one of the all-time great catches, Julian Edelman, right, against the Falcons, like one of the all-time great Super Bowl catches, and no one ever brings up the Jermaine Kearse catch because of what ends up happening, whatever it is, 45 seconds later, when instead of running it with Marshawn Lynch, Russell Wilson throws the slant and Malcolm Butler intercepts it. Patriots hold on to win.
Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and Rotoworld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest Roto-World fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.